Welcome back to our Lost Artistry Lash channel. On our channel, we dedicate our time to give you all kinds of lash education for free. In today's video, I'm going to be teaching you all about working with layers. So many people, when they first start out lashing, they don't even know that layers exist. So if you're somebody who is unfamiliar with lash layers, don't worry. By the end of this video, you'll be ready to tackle any client who walks in the door with confidence. The first thing we're going to learn today is how to figure out how many layers your client has. And from there, we're gonna run through tons more layer talk, such as how to know how to create mapping if someone has over 6 layers. We'll say, yes, that is a thing. Some clients will have up to 6 layers. It is crazy. Most people only have 3, but you will find clients with more. So I'm gonna teach you how to work with clients who do have lots of layers and how to lash each set in layers. So we're gonna work through how to lash the top layer, the bottom layer, and then the middle layer, as well as how to create darkness by working with your layers. So I hope you guys love this video, and by all means, if you have any questions after watching, please share them in the comments below. We would love to answer your questions, and if you have any quick layering tips as well, please share them, because I'm sure someone would love to read your special tips and tricks as well. When we're checking for the layers, we're gonna use 2 fingers and we're gonna move the eyelid back and forth so that we have a clear view of all the layers. You can even take a finger and move some lashes, hold some out of the way so that you can really clearly see all the layers. So I'm gonna show you a really close-up shot of what you're looking for here. You're coming in, you're turning your head on the side so you can see how many they have. So Antonia actually has between 3 and 5 layers in any given area. And most commonly, people will only have 1 to 2 layers max on those inner and outer corners, like very, very outer corner and a little bit of that inner corner. She actually has a little more like 3 in most spots and 2 in some, but that's uncommon. She has a lot of natural lashes. Most people only have 1 to 2 layers in here max. And actually in some areas of Antonia's layers, she has upwards of 5 layers, but there's not a lot of strong lashes on that bottom layer. When I'm working in layers, what I'm gonna do is first complete all that top layer, the stuff that's closest to me, on the closest layer that sits next to me while I'm working with her eyes closed. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill that whole top layer, and then I'm gonna show you how to pull those out of the way and work on the bottom layer second, because no matter what, once I'm finished the top layer and the bottom layer, my lashes are going to look complete because her natural lashes are sandwiched in between those beautiful extensions, with whatever timing we have left after we're complete our top and our bottom layer. So as I've said before, Antonia has quite a few layers in certain areas, more than 3 layers, which most mappings that you'll see online will talk about. So if most mappings are talking about 3 layers, for sake of ease, I'm just gonna use 6 layers as an example. So if Antonia has 6 layers, what you would do is you would section your mapping out. So let's say we're working between this area and this area. If my mapping between this area and this area was calling for 13 millimeter on the top layer, 12 millimeter in the middle, and 11 millimeter on the bottom, I would actually split my layers into 2 rows per section. So the bottom 2 rows, I would have my 11, the middle 2 rows would have my 12, and the top 2 rows would have my 13. And as I've spoken about, if I was looking for darkness, which I actually am today in Antonia's set, I would use my D-curl on the bottom layer, and especially if my client has lashes that point down on that bottom layer, which is the closest to the pad, then we want to avoid the extensions falling into their eyes, right? So we want to pull those lashes up. So not only will it achieve darkness around that base if we use a D-curl in those areas, then it would also pull the lashes away from her eye to give more of a lift so that it didn't obstruct her view whatsoever. And then another trick to working with just getting darkness in general is mixing shorter lengths within your longer length section. So on that bottom layer, you can put lots of shorter lengths and it's gonna give that added dimension and depth within your set, and it's going to look stunning and dark as well as textured. So let's start working on the top layer. So I always work in the same section on either eye. So I'm gonna lay my first lash on the inside and then my second lash on the inside in the same area and work through my set just like that. That creates a very well-balanced lash set. But again, working on that top layer in the beginning. So I've gone ahead and completed that top layer. So as you can see, it looks from the top angle where we're working like the set is 100% complete. But let me show you Antonia's eyes once they're open, and you'll notice that that bottom layer hasn't been lashed yet. So have a look and don't get fooled when you see this beautiful set from your angle. Make sure that you're looking to see what that bottom layer looks like. So what you can do is take your finger, use your mirror, and just lift the lid ever so slightly to see if you have lashes left on that bottom layer. And I have pretty much the whole bottom layer still left to go. Or if you don't have a mirror, we strongly suggest having one because it's way more convenient and you don't have to actually open the eye to look in. But if you don't have a mirror, that's okay. You can do the finger trick again where you take two fingers and you just have to make sure the glue is fully cured if you do go this route. And then you open up, move your head to the side and have a look under to see if there's any lashes left to get on that layer. So Antonia does have dark natural lashes anyways. So for a client like her, if I stopped here, it would look okay. It wouldn't look 100%, but it would look good enough that she would probably be happy with her lashes just because she has those black natural lashes anyways. But if you had a client that had blonde natural lashes, it would look very incomplete if you left lashes on that bottom layer. So when I take my wand and move the longer lashes back, you can see that that bottom layer automatically pops out. And so when I'm working to get all those bottom layer lashes, in order to make it easier for me, I'm gonna go ahead and take an iPad that I'm not using, and with the sticky part pointing towards myself, I'm gonna go ahead and pull those longer lashes back. And you can see that that bottom layer is already starting to pop out. And then all I have to do is take my isolation tweezer, pointy side, only one side of the pointy tip, and just go along that lash line to pull all those lashes out. Some people do this with tape, but I suggest being very cautious if you use tape because some tapes are really sticky, whereas pads, they're really not sticky at all. And some people ask a question that's totally relevant. Are there going to be sticky spots on the lashes from the pads? The answer is no. I've never seen that. At least with our pads, I've never seen that. I can't speak for every company, of course, but with ours, I've never seen that. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. I do this all of the time and it's never been an issue. And actually, I really like this view because you can see all the different stages of growth here. And we really have to baby some of these lashes and make sure that they stay really nice and healthy. So now I'm gonna go ahead and on the bottom layer, I'm going to place the rest of my lashes, and I am doing an American volume set. So I've done my longer lengths as shown on this mapping here. I'm gonna go in with about 4 millimeters lower on that bottom layer. It's gonna give a lot of dimension and depth, and it's gonna cause a more wispy finish just because of the difference in lengths. It's gonna look awesome, and it's gonna give that really dark base. And again, although I'm doing about 4 millimeters shorter, that doesn't mean that that's the only length that I'm gonna do. When I'm working with any American volume set, I'm mixing a ton of lengths within my sections, so keeping that in mind as well. And on Antonia, my model today, I'm gonna be working with only decurl on the bottom layer because, as I've said before, that layer really sits low. So I wanna offer a little bit of a lift. And I'm gonna do a mix of our V-neck lashes, our pro fan lashes, and our handmade fans, just to show you guys how to use each of them. And there's really no right or wrong when it comes to which type of lash you're using. As long as you're using the same type of fan, you're gonna get the same results. So you can use whichever type fan that you choose. Some of these lashes, they really don't even need to be isolated. They're already isolated for you. You may notice that I'm using smaller fans right now. And that's simply because a lot of the lashes that are down here are just too fine, and I never want to compromise the strength of those lashes.